Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another month. It is already April and there has been so much going on in the past few days. So I am excited to talk to you all about that and go over our March numbers and talk about what is happening in April. There is a lot of exciting things happening. I don't want to bury the lead. We bought a house. Yes, I told you guys we have been thinking about doing it and we've been, saving diligently for the last few months, but we went ahead and pulled the trigger. We found a house we really liked. It's in a great neighborhood. It's close to our friends. Now we are under contract and we should be closing very, very soon. So I'm excited to talk more about all that and talk about the numbers once everything shakes out. So on Friday of last week, we went and looked at some houses and we were like, oh, none of them are really like speaking to us. And one of them had already just got under contract. So we are like seeing this house, but it was already taken by somebody else anyway. And one of the houses was like, you need to put in an offer tomorrow in order to like even like get in. And I'm like, I don't know if I like this house enough. And it just didn't feel like a house that I wanted to rush into. And so I was like, I don't know. And so we came back and then I was looking on Zillow and I saw that there was another house that literally came onto the market like right after we had gotten back home. And I was like, oh, I really like this house. Like from the pictures, it looks nice. It's in a great area. It's like right close to our friends. And so I was like, let's just go to the open house. So I told my husband, I was like, let's just go to the open house tomorrow and then, we'll just see. And if we really like it, that's fine. But if we don't really like it, that's totally fine too. We can always just like tell our realtor, hey, we're going to take a step back from looking and try and like save up more money. We did not ultimately reach my goal of getting to a 10% down payment saved up, but that's totally okay. There's lots of things that like go into that decision making process anyway. So we were like talking through all that. And ultimately we ended up really liking the home. And we talked to the realtor that was there. He wasn't the listing agent, but he was working with the listing agent. And he said that there was already a ton of interest on this home. This home was, I would say, very reasonably priced for the homes in this area. It was definitely on the lower end of our budget, which I always prefer to stay under budget when I'm looking at like a major financial purchase like this. And so we were going through and he said, we have like 5 or 6 people that are also interested in it. And so we're like, oh, what do we do about this? We hadn't even been pre-approved at that point. So I was like, oh, well, we can't make an offer until we get a pre-approval. We called our realtor, like literally in the car. There was this other couple that they were also touring the house at the same time we were. We got into our car and I was like, John, we need to go ahead and call our realtor. And so we called the realtor. We're like, the issue is we're not pre-approved yet for anything. And he's like, don't worry, I've got somebody that we can reach out to and he'll do it. And so it got expedited for us and we got the pre-approval and everything. So we were all good there. And so then we went ahead and made the offer and they said, we want all offers in by Sunday at 5 p.m. So I was like, okay, well, once we put in our offer on Saturday, we're like, we won't hear anything at least until Sunday evening. And we didn't hear anything Sunday, so I was like, oh, we probably didn't get it. They probably went with like a higher bid. Monday morning, I was like, let's just go ahead and call the bank and get another quote for our mortgage because maybe we can get a better rate. And so we called, and then our realtor called us like right after we called the bank and had set up a meeting to go and talk with them. And he was like, congratulations, you got the house. And also we close in 3 weeks. And I'm like, oh, okay, we are closing fast. I was like, holy moly, like that was like a lot. And so he's like, yeah, we got to close super fast. We got to move on this. And I was like, okay, I'm like kind of nervous, but about that timeline because it was like we need to do the inspections, we have to get the appraisal, like all of that song and dance. And so we're like, okay, let's go. And so then we started researching. So then we started reaching out to other lenders and trying to like get the best rate as possible. And we finally like landed on that. We've also like had to like talk to a million people this week. So basically that's like kind of why our March budget looks crazy because we had to like move around some of our stuff. So that's really crazy. So that happened really quickly, and I am very hopeful that the inspection and everything will go well and all that stuff, so that we should be in good standing. Like, it seems like a great house. The roof was replaced in 2022 and it was built in 2000. So, like, it's a fairly new house. It's definitely not updated in some places, and we can do the updates for sure. But, like, I'm just so excited to, like, move into this new house and have more space and show you guys everything that we do with that. So yeah, let's go ahead and get on into the March budget so you can see how that went, and then we will go over to our April budget. Okay, so first things first, our income. So we both got our regular expected income. I did not get my bonus this month, but like I said, I never planned for bonuses. We did file our taxes this month and we got our tax refund. I created a whole video showing all of our tax refunds, so you guys can go and watch that after this video to see what we did with that money. I also got some money back. So we were originally going to go and see Jimmy O Yang, and I was so excited. I bought the tickets because my credit card, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, it gives me credits towards StubHub, and so I was like, oh, I guess I should use it. Like, it's like a use it or lose it situation with a lot of these credits on this credit card. So I was like, oh, Jimmy O Yang, I saw that he was coming. I really like him. And so I was like, okay, I'll buy the tickets on. And so I bought the tickets, and they were underneath that threshold, so I didn't have to pay anything out of pocket. But then on the day of the show, I was like super sick, so I had to resell them on StubHub, and they resold, and so I got some money back from that. And then I also have started doing an app that is called Adipole, and it basically just is like a survey app. You take surveys and they give you money, and I've actually gotten quite a bit of money from that this month. I think so. Some of that that other here is like $25 of that. I was like, wow. So I will post my link down in the description box below so you can sign up. It's completely free, and you just take little surveys. Sometimes you don't qualify for all the surveys, but that's totally fine. And then you just get that money, and the threshold to cash out is really low. I think it's only $2.50, and I just have them send it to my PayPal account, and then when it hits PayPal, I just automatically send it to my bank. In terms of our bills, we're actually a little bit under in all of our bills. So our water this month was $5 lower, which is always nice to see. Also, we're under on our phone bill, and that's because, so when you have your credit cards, a lot of times they will give you like different cashback incentive offers, like if you sign up with them and then you use your card to pay for that. And one of the ones was to get, I think it was like 25% off Visible or whatever. It was a pretty good discount. I was like, okay. And so I did that, and then I changed over my payment method before it came out this month, and I used the credit card that was going to give me the cash back. And so I saved $6.25, which is always nice. And then security and pest control were all the same. So we actually saved $10.47 on our usual bills. So not a lot, but it was always good to be able to like go in and just check your stuff and see if you have any like incentives for things that you're already going to pay for, and then just sign up for them and pay with your card, and then voila, cash back, and you didn't have to really do very much. All right, now let's talk about this. We have quite a bit of red here, but honestly, other than the home thing, which we will talk about, not too bad. So groceries and household were a little bit more because we did host some of our friends, and we had hot pot. So we bought a lot of ingredients for that. Now, a lot of those ingredients, we didn't eat them all that in one night. So we did have a lot left over for like different meals. So we've gotten a lot of great usage out of them. We also had to buy some more like pantry staples. I needed to get some more oil and all that good stuff. So I just like to buy those in like bigger sizes so I don't have to worry about buying them every month. Gas and transportation were actually under, which is crazy. We got both of our cars oil changed. So the fact that we were under here, I'm not complaining about, especially because now gas prices have like gone up quite substantially in the past few weeks. So yeah. In terms of giving, we are Christians, and we do believe in giving to charity. And so we give to the food banks, we give to our local church and other community places in our area. And so I just blocked that out for privacy purposes. For our therapy, we did not, I just have realized that we're probably not going to go back to couples counseling in a while because we just have such busy schedules. So I am just moving this down to account for my husband's copay. And so we went ahead and did that. For our gyms and subs, I didn't actually get charged for my HP Instant Ink this month. Not sure why. So that'll probably hit my account pretty soon, but that's only $1.92. And then in terms of my spending and my husband's spending, we were pretty good on that. What did I buy this month for myself? Oh, I got the Whoop. So that was another Chase offer, was you get basically 1 year free of Whoop Life. And so I was like, I'll try it out. So I've been using it now for like 3 weeks and I really like it. So I think that if you have the Chase Sapphire Reserve and you want to try out the Whoop for free for like a year, you do get a $359 credit if you have the Chase Sapphire Reserve. You do have to sign up before you buy it. So, with any of this stuff, you always sign up first and then you make the purchase. But yeah, I got the statement credit a few days after I made the purchase. So all I had to pay for was taxes. Spending, guilt-free spending, we're also a little bit over in this category, but not too crazy. Like I said, we hosted at our house. We also ate out quite a few times this month. But honestly, like, I'm not mad about $24. It's not too bad. And then in terms of our miscellaneous, a lot of this was just I paid for a copay for one of my medications, and then we also had to pay for some parking and all that good stuff. So this is where the home thing goes crazy. So when you buy a house, you have to put down money, and that money is known as due diligence. And basically, it's a specific amount of money that you put down because that money goes right into their pockets, like at the very beginning of it. So then when you get to your closing date, that money is a credit on top of all of that stuff. So basically, I just moved around money from saving this and then just putting it into this home category bucket because I needed to like keep that money in my checking account so that we're able to clear the due diligence check once it gets deposited into the bank account for the sellers. So that's pretty much it. So in total, we spent $4,000 this month, which is way higher than usual. Again, $2,000 of that is to help pay for our due diligence, so not too crazy. We're obviously very over in our expenses. All right, let's go over to our savings buckets. So for our emergency fund, we are not saving anything because we are currently at our 3-month emergency fund. Now, because we are buying a new house and our house expenses are going up, we probably will start putting aside a little bit more to bring up our emergency fund to cover the fact that we are living in a more expensive place. But we will get there when we get there, once we get all of our other stuff squared away with the house purchase and everything. Health and wellness, $70. We have high deductible healthcare plans, and so with that we have HSAs. And so I just like to set aside enough money to cover our high deductibles, and we're not there yet. We're almost there, so I'm just putting aside a little bit of money each month to get there. And then with the house fund, as you can see, this is where I didn't add in that extra money, and then I also pulled from the sinking fund to go ahead and cover the due diligence. Gift savings, I kept normal at $175. For maintenance, I went up because when we had my windshield replaced last month, I was way more expensive than I thought. And so I was like, we probably need to put more money in this to cover things like that. And we did end up changing our auto insurance, which I'm very excited because we're going to be saving $400 a year on our auto policies by doing this. And so I have reflected in April saving a little bit less because we don't have as much of a bill that we need to save, because in this car maintenance fund, I also pull out our car insurance, and I did pay for a full year up front, so we won't have to pay for our car insurance again until next year, which is really nice. But we should also be getting a credit when we go ahead and cancel our current policy. Vacations, this is, like I said, where we put in that extra money from our tax refund. So we put aside $652 extra dollars in here. And then we also did have to spend quite a bit out of this. And that was our flights to Seattle. I did opt to do direct, which I know is more expensive, but when it comes to like long haul flights, I am so tired of having to do layovers. I hate it. Frankly, I hate layovers. And so because of that, I was just like, I will pay extra for a nonstop flight. And then I also had some extra Delta points, and I used my Delta points to upgrade us to Comfort Plus on the way there. So that was a completely free upgrade, which was really nice. But yeah, those were kind of expensive tickets, but I don't regret it because I have decided that I just want to live the soft girl life when it comes to traveling. I don't want to have to like I have done the get off the airplane and you got 30 minutes to make it to your next airplane, and you got to go through security again, and you've got to go through customs and all that stuff, and it's been stressful. It's taken years off my life. So I'm just like, nonstop, we good. And honestly, like, that's worth it to me. For annual sub fees, I put in our normal $140. This is to cover anything that we pay for on an annual basis, like our AAA, our ring insurance, our HBO subscription. We pay for that yearly. So all that good stuff. Also to cover our credit card fees, we did have to pay one of our credit card fees this month, $95 for our Capital One venture. Then for our fund, we just put aside $100. For taxes, we put aside $65 to get us to how much we needed to pay for our state taxes. We did owe a little bit in state, but we didn't owe anything in federal. Extra giving, we set aside $100, and that is just so if we want to give above and beyond what we already giving, we can pull out of that and give to whatever causes we want to support. And then finally, in our new tech fund, we put aside $100. So in total, we saved $4,163, and we spent $4,225 out of our sinking funds. So yeah, quite a spendy month, but we also saved a good amount. In our investments, we are still setting aside our usual $625. These are automated, so we just like set it and forget it. This gets us to $7,000 at the end of the year, which is the annual limit for 2026. And so I'm just letting it grow. And you know, the markets have been down. I did check the numbers at the end of March, and they were a little bit sad, but it's okay because it's not a loss until you sell. So if you don't sell, it could come back up. And so that's how I feel about it. So that is where we're at with our IRAs. We're not putting anything in the joint brokerage. And once we move houses and we figure out all of the stuff with like our new fixed expenses, I may start putting into our joint brokerage. We will just see. So, you know, I think we're going to see a lot of changes to our budget in the next few months. My husband's student loans, we're just setting aside the minimums. All right, let's look at our cash flow breakdown. Oh my gosh, this is looking a little bit, this looks different than usual. Our bills were only 10%, which is great. Our expenses were 25% of the pie, which is a little bit higher than usual. But if you put our bills and expenses together, that's only 35%. So really not that bad in the grand scheme of things. Our long-term savings, 14.7%. And revolving funds, 11.9%. Investments, 8%. Debt, only 2.7%. And then our sinking funds, 27%, because we had to pull a lot of that money out to go to our due diligence. So that is how March shook out. I cannot believe it is already April. I think that this year is just going to accelerate even faster with our move. And yeah, so I'll keep you guys updated on that. But let's go on to April now. All right, in April, we are not expecting a change in our income. I do know that my annual compensation review is up, I think, this month or next month, and usually that gets reflected in next month's pay. So I will learn more from my manager about if I get any type of raise. I probably will get a small raise. I wouldn't say that it's going to be like a huge one, so I'm not changing my income anytime soon. I will probably keep it at this baseline, and then if we, you know, get any extra money, that would be great because our expenses are going to go quite a bit up in the next couple of months anyway. So glad that we are going to have a hopefully a small pay raise in our bills. So the way that it works when you buy a house is you bring your down payment and you prepay for homeowners insurance and taxes and all that stuff. You prepay for a lot of that stuff up front when you close, and then it's about a month until you actually have to make your first mortgage payment. So we won't have to actually pay our new mortgage until June. So all of these numbers are still reflective of our current house. So it's a little bit of a bigger house, so I do expect the electricity and water to go up slightly, but I'm not 100% sure what that's going to look like. So I'll probably make my bills next month like look a lot bigger just so that we can cover all that, but some of these things will still stay the same. So at our new house, there will be Google Fiber. So that's nice. I'll just change over our service to that. Our security will also stay the same with Simply Safe, and with our pest control, we'll just ask them to service our new house. For our expenses, I'm basically keeping normal stuff, $650 for groceries and household, $200 for gas. Hopefully this is good. Like I said, the price of gas has gone up. Like we filled up my car tank yesterday, and previously it usually took about $35 and now it's $45, so like $10 more. So I just added a little. So I'm keeping it at 200, but again, last month we didn't spend all of that, so I think this month we will be closer to that, or maybe hopefully not too much above. Therapy, $18 for my husband's copay. Gyms and subs, $93, and I raised that. I don't know why I raised that. I think I might owe extra on my HP Instant Ink or something like that. I don't know. There's been some fluctuations in our standard like subs, so I just added $2 extra to make sure we covered that. Our normal spending, $550 for our guilt-free. Miscellaneous is $20.53, and then for our home, we're setting aside a lot of this money. So a lot of this money will go to our closing costs. We do have like a lot of money saved up for that, but we still have some extra money that we need to save on top of that. And this will also help cover some of our other things that we need to do. Like we need to buy a washer dryer for this place, and there are some other pieces of furniture we need to buy. So we're figuring that out, and I just put that all together in this one. So we're going to be spending a lot on home, and that means that our savings are going to be a lot different. Health and wellness, we're going to stay the same. House fund, we're not saving anything because we're going to be spending a lot out of it. Gift savings, $175. Car maintenance, $175. Again, this is to reflect that our car insurance is cheaper now, so we don't have to save as much. Vacations, $250. Annual sub fees, $140. And extra giving, $100. My husband and I agreed that we would not be putting any extra into our fund or our new tech fund, because we'll be buying stuff for our new house. So that's going to be pretty fun, and some of that's going to be new tech. So, all good stuff there. But, of course, with our investments, we are still going to be setting aside $625 for each of our Roth IRAs. And for our debt, we're just going to do the normal minimum monthly payments. Okay, you guys, I have been talking for a hot second. So I need to grab some water, and if you got this far, thank you so much. Comment down below with the house emoji, because we bought a house, and I really hope that everything goes well with your April, and let me know if you're excited for spring to be officially out in force here in North Carolina. It's pollen central, but we're having lots of fun. And as always, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye, guys.